Hi guys, welcome to The Identity. Thank you for tuning into Hope Channel, and it's my great joy that you've chosen to tune in and get to share with us on the studies that we've been having. And again, don't forget that the identity is to help us as youths to identify with Christ in all our walks of life. Now today, we'll be discussing about family in spiritual growth. Yes, I know you have had challenges with the family. Sometimes you have the pressure and sometimes you have the cheer. We will be discussing about that more into today's discussion. On the panel today, we have Agnes Morin. She's a medical student from the University of Nairobi. We also have Pastor Moses Joseph. He's a pastor at the University of Africa, University of Arusha. And he's also a student at AUA. He's undertaking his PhD in theology studies. And lastly, we have Veda Obuya. She's a student undertaking BSc in meteorology. I encourage you to join into this discussion through our social media platforms, which are going to be relayed on your screen. Join in, guys. Hi.
Hi.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
It's a little bit easier. Is it because you're going to talk to our parents, or what is it?
Yeah. Talk to my mom.
You talk to your mom.
Something passionate. I really love this topic.
So, family in relation to our spiritual growth. The first, of course, obvious question is, what is family made of? Because people will say family is, is what I have to deal with or what I have at the moment. So what is family? What is a family made of? Agnes?
There's the metaphorical part, and then there's the literal part. Literal part, of course, is your mom, your dad, if you have them, or your brothers and your sisters. And then there's the metaphorical one where we say they're friends, and then there's family, like people who you can relate to at a personal level, people who know you and understand you. Yeah.
And there's also the brother zone and the sister zone.
The church. So we have
we have the brothers and the sisters.
The sisters. Amazing. Now, is family really? Let's go to the family in itself first. And is family really important in our spiritual growth? I mean, somebody will say I did not apply to be in this family, so I have to live with this. So my life, my rules, my God. Is family really important? Veda?
Yeah, actually family is really important in the sense that you'll need this person to grow in other aspects. For instance, let's take it in the family, mother-father area. You'll need your father to guide you in specific areas. You'll need your mother to probably cook for you. You'll need your sisters to talk to. You'll need your brothers. It's very important for you to have such people around you. And coming back to our general associations, we have our friends, and it's important again to have these people around your life for you to grow. It's actually like a growing unit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has somebody told you look good?
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
she
sorry.
does.
Hey,
Yes, I love the African
We thank God.
family influences.
We thank God.
Now, Percy, has family been of a particular influence to you, especially with the person they have become today?
I cannot emphasize it enough, especially my siblings. They have been like rock solid for me, because I really do believe that the family is the foundation of a person, that the world can come crashing, but if your family believes in you, things would still hold on. But if your family turns on you, they will break down. So I believe that my parents played a part, whereas they established that routine, and of course trying to introduce us to who Jesus is, but also the fact that we are just so close together with my siblings. We have that love for one another. They have enabled me to because I love them so much, I speak to them about it. I want them to know Jesus, and they've also been holding me accountable, telling me how much I am to them, and enabling me just to have a closer relationship to God. So yes, family has played such a crucial role for me.
Wow.
My mother, I cannot emphasize enough. She was the balancing effort. You know how pastors are like, and the pressure they face, and how they want to relate that to the children. But my mother was just there with me day to day and showing me that she loves me. So all these components, I believe, have played a very important part to who I am today.
Oh, amazing. Is the devil interested to the family, in the family?
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
Ah, come on.
Why?
As he said, the family, it's like the foundation. When something goes wrong in the family, and trust me, society will have a problem.
That's right.
And we are facing so many challenges as a country and as a continent and as a world in general. And we've been trying to solve these things, you know, like, I don't know, social-wise or general-wise, when the problem is actually in the family. When children don't have a good upbringing, it affects how they see life in general and how they're going to react when they now have the freedom to associate with other people. Let's say, for example, the sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas. Their father was negligent, you know, like he just let them have their own way. And you know, many times as children, we feel that our parents are so strict on. I have very strict parents, and at some point, I'm serious. Oh, mom and dad, in case you guys see this, I love you so much. I do. But at some
they're very strict though.
Very. But at some point, I wanted to be rebellious because I felt I was being constricted. Like, that was too much. When I was 16, I wanted to go and party. I was like, those guys are having the time of their life. Why can't I have the same? But I know I'm just 19, but at this age, all grown up.
All grown up.
I know.
No more growing. It's the end.
I can say that family plays an important role, but parents have an even greater work.
That's right.
That people shouldn't just become parents. They should know what is in the plate for them, because they're forming characters both for now and for eternity.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Veda,
Yeah.
are we being good? And again, this is subjective.
Yes.
Are we being good youths to our parents? Are we being good citizens? Are we being good Christians in how we relate to them?
I'd say we are not fair to our parents as youths. Yes, because at this age, very few people, when you look back, you growing up as a child, your class, you were very full. A class of 40 probably in the same cradle roll class or kindergarten. Then when you look at this age, we're just being begged to come for youth meetings. We're being begged to come for prayers in church.
Even begged to come for family meetings.
Yes, for
Family Vespers.
family Vespers. And not only that, family devotions. Your mom is calling you, your father is calling you, that rather they have this set timetable that at this particular time we'll be praying, we'll be singing hymns, we'll be doing this devotion. But at that time, it's when you're very busy, you want to stay out late, or probably, I mean, it happens to many youths. We do this a lot. It's when the phone becomes so interesting, when we get so busy, we have schoolwork we need to finish, like we don't give God his time. It's no longer family time. You feel like it's a lecture. You're from school again, you're coming to another school. We are not being fair to our parents.
Wow. Percy, what do you think?
I'm just smiling because I'm thinking so much of my parents. You know, I'm the last born. I have 3 other elder people, elder siblings rather. And I can see that it's really a tough challenge, considering the sacrifice that the parents have made for us and how we now want to have our freedom. You know, this is a very big battle because, example, I've grown in a pastor's home, and I know that me, not just my siblings, but me with my siblings have made different choices in lives. Even there are times that I clash with my dad over my pastoral decisions, that he doesn't agree, even though both of us are pastors. And sometimes I do worry of how much do I maintain the respect and the love and just the fact that, okay, example, my dad wants us to wake up at 5. I don't agree with waking up at 5 for my devotion, but how much do I keep the respect that when I'm in his house, just for the love and the sacrifice he made for me, I would make sure that I wake up at 5 to attend that devotion and not ignore it and just say, now I'm grown up, I have my own kind of life. So I think that's the tough part of balancing the respect for our parents, not putting on a different face or being a hypocrite, but just respecting them and the methods of raising up in a godly way along with our freedom. So that's a very tough balance. Even I find myself that I've been guilty of many times.
You know, I also look at our generation right now, and again I said that question is subjective because there's some of the youths who are watching right now, parents can confess and say this child has been of a positive
That's
influence.
right, yeah.
And personally, I believe that we are supposed to be a source of encouragement to our parents, because I mean, if you look at what our parents are going through to provide for us, you know, leave alone the spiritual, even the finances. We're in school, some of us, man.
From childhood, from like
You've never lacked.
Never lacked. Even when you lacked, your parent could. I've had this being said more than once, that a parent will walk with a dirty shirt or even just a shirt without a vest to ensure that that meal is served. But then you're generally not being fair to them. And again, this is subjective. There's some children who God has been faithful, because there's nothing that we can say that it's of their own doing. You know, it's God has been faithful.
And there's also some parents who have been very tough on their kids, and not the positive kind of tough, but some have been abusive to their kids, and some have been, like example, they've had parents who are addicted to alcohol and etc. So we can't like generalize everywhere, but yet just this aspect of showing back the love, and even for us to want good for them, for their spiritual growth. Example, if my mom and dad are not, mine are, but if my mom and dad are not Adventist, how much do I show that spiritual care to them, to show that example of Jesus, no matter how bad they've been to me?
Amazing. And I will only move forward and ask, can God or Christ use a broken family to be a source of my spiritual growth? Agnes?
A story is said of two young men. One was a heavy drunker, and the other one was like, you know, like pastor.
This is a true story, eh?
Yeah.
So because you're saying like pastor, so I'm worried maybe.
No, like well kept, and you were just looking at them, you wouldn't think that they came from the same family, but they did. So the drunkard was asked, why are you like this? And he was like, I came from an abusive background. My dad was a heavy drinker. What did you expect? His brother was asked the same. Guess what? He said the same thing. My dad was a heavy drinker and abusive. And so what did you expect? And many times we think or we justify our wrong actions based on what backgrounds we come from, and that's not right, because we have the freedom of choice as human beings to choose that no matter how bad your situation is, that you can come out, you know, stronger and wiser. And to your question, can
God use a broken vessel?
You're answering it well. You're answering it well.
God can use. It doesn't matter how broken you are, because God knows you. You know, He knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, and He can see the end from the beginning. There is nothing. He says in Jeremiah, is there anything too hard for the Lord? There is nothing. He's the only person who can pick those shreds, those pieces. Like when glass breaks, you know, the pieces scatter everywhere and you can't pick them. I mean, that's so tiny, but God has the ability to, you know, mend you. You just have to go to Him, be willing, because God can't just work in you. He can't call, you know what, Sam, come, I need to work in you. No, you have to make that conscious effort to, and agree that, yeah, I'm broken and I need help, and He can there's nothing he can do.
Pastor, please come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that answer. Thank you for that wonderful answer, and I really agree with it. You can look throughout the Bible, the families that were being stated in the Bible. Joseph's brothers. You could see Abel and Cain, but then Seth came out. You will always see that even though that the family is broken, the Lord truly can use His family. I think one of the most important thing is the realization of your circumstances, that you realize that I come from a broken family, I come from a family with this and this challenge, but despite this challenge, Lord, I need you to make a difference in my life. So I believe that it's that recognition of the challenges that we have that would make us at a foot drop of understanding how to become better and how to be used for God's glory. Quick example is, I usually hear so many things that define cultures, that, you know, this culture, in back home in Tanzania, we say this culture, they're so stingy. This culture, they beat their women. This culture, and we know about that. And sometimes even parents, I've been talked to by my parents, I don't get married to this culture because of so and so and so reason. But every time I talk to my parents, I tell them, even the Luo, I'm a Luo, the Luo culture, we are known for loving women. But does that mean that somebody should not get married to me because of that? I need to recognize that that's a broken part of me and my heritage. And I need to ensure that I will not fall into this trap of the devil. Not to say that, nah, I'm all good. I'm not like that. That is where there will be a problem, and my background would influence my decisions in the future. So recognize that you're in a broken state and seek that the Lord can make you better.
Amazing. There's a preacher who said it's only God who can use a broken stick to make a straight line.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, be sure, as long as you know who holds your life, holds your future, be content of what is going to make out of you, you know. And if anything, subject yourself to Him, yield your will to Him, because it's only Him who can make you a good youth, you know. And I want to ask you, Veda, as much as we say that family is the source of us growing, be it spiritually and socially and all these things, can family be a hindrance to this? Because the common statement that has been used in our African culture is that parents want the best of you and for you. So can family be a source of, you know, a hindrance more of for spiritual growth?
Sure, family can. There's this saying that a prophet is never welcomed in his home.
Say that again.
Yeah. For instance, if you are not raised in a Christian home, example, pastor, you are not expected to become a pastor. Very few of our parents expect us to become pastors, expect us to become these church leaders that some of us are today. Because back when they look at the history, they're like, okay, only so-and-so's father, that's it. And it's not in you. So when this time comes and you're interested in ministry or interested in evangelism, you tend to get discouragements. Like, what can you do? We know you. We've heard you talk. You never talk sense. We've heard you don't know how to sing. You get? You've been told that before, right?
Yeah, please.
Like, you don't know how to sing, Mangi.
Huh?
It's an example.
Okay.
It was getting worried there.
You're passionate about this, but you can't move forward. Why? Because your family does not believe in you. They don't believe in you. You're so passionate about this thing. As much as you're trying so hard to be in line in what God wants for you, they'll still be there to tell you no. Until that time when you make it, they'll be like, no, it's when they'll have testimonies. I've seen that before. Like, I've never thought my son would have become an elder or a pastor, but we thank God. Yeah, I'd like to urge as parents, at home, let us see this in our children early enough, because we have these young ones. For instance, I have a nephew, I have a niece. My nephew likes singing a lot, and if the mother decides that you're just making noise, you keep quiet, you're just making noise, this boy will grow up knowing that as much as I love singing, as much as I know how to sing, it's not for me. Someone else is destined to do
I don't have a musical voice.
Yes, that's not mine. So family hinders our dreams, our growth and everything. As much as we want to move forward, we also have these members who want us to remain where we are. Like, you are okay. Where you are, we are okay with you here. Going forward, moving, that's not for you. Yeah.
Pastor, have you heard
I was just remembering a story. I remember when I was in theology, and so I used to check on my siblings, and I'd be like, hello, how are you doing? How is your spiritual life? And how is your relationship with God? And then one time, like they wrote on the group, like, Moses, can you stop being a pastor to us? You are a little brother, please. Like, can you stop with this? And so I had to like pull back and just establish the friendship. So I was just laughing at that aspect that she shared. But for sure, the family can be a hindrance, because even me, I know that I've had some ideas that are out of tradition of the traditional ministry, and that's been a very tough thing to even try to pursue, because my dad is like, no. This is not the way you should go. But I do believe that if you feel like the Lord is calling you, and your calling is when, as one of my professors was saying, is when your need meets your passion. You see a need that is out there, and it's meets something that you're really passionate about. Don't stop the passion of someone who is trying to meet a need that is in the world. So I think that's one of the things that has been really a challenge. And sometimes they can have this set way of seeing how you should be like, and it hurts.
Amazing, amazing. And I'm happy that you've brought that out at the last moment. And that's why I was headed to. Families have expectations. Are these expectations bad?
If they were to be pastors and they did not, I want you to be a pastor. Yes.
I mean, we'll be discussing more about this, about family expectation and pressure, and see how much it affects us as youth, because we desire to have an experience that is reflective of how we associate with our family members and how we have found an identity in Christ. See you after the break.
Kwa kuwa ni mwingi wa rehema, kwa mapenzi yake makuu, alivyotupenda Mungu mkuu, hata tulipokuwa wafu, sababu ya makosa yetu, alituisha pamoja na Kristo. Yani tumeokolewa kwa neema, hebu njoni tujiunge, tumsifu Mungu mkuu. Kwa kuwa ni wingi wa rehema, kwa mapenzi yake makuu, alivyotupenda Mungu mkuu, hata tulipokuwa wafu, sababu ya makosa yetu, alituisha pamoja na Kristo. Yani tumeokolewa kwa neema, hebu njoni tujiunge, tumsifu Mungu mkuu. Nimekombolewa mimi ni kazi yake, niliumbwa katika Kristo Yesu. Mimi siyo mgeni wala mpitaji, bali mwenyeji pamoja na watakatifu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu. Nimekombolewa mimi ni kazi yake, niliumbwa katika Kristo Yesu. Mimi siyo mgeni wala mpitaji, bali mwenyeji pamoja na watakatifu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu. Alitufufua pamoja na Kristo, akatuketisha pamoja naye katika ulimwengu wa roho. Kristo Yesu. Sasa maisha yangu yadhihirisha wema usioelezeka, kwa maana nimeokolewa kwa kipawa cha Mungu mkuu, bali siyo nafsi yangu. Alitufufua pamoja na Kristo, akatuketisha pamoja naye katika ulimwengu wa roho, katika Kristo Yesu. Sasa maisha yangu yadhihirisha wema usioelezeka, kwa maana nimeokolewa kwa kipawa cha Mungu mkuu, bali siyo nafsi yangu. Nimekombolewa, mimi ni kazi yake, niliumbwa katika Kristo Yesu. Mimi siyo mgeni wala mpitaji, bali mwenyeji pamoja na watakatifu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu. Tumekombolewa, sisi ni kazi yake, tuliumbwa katika Kristo Yesu. Sisi siyo wageni wala wapitaji, bali wenyeji pamoja na watakatifu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu. Tumekombolewa, sisi ni kazi yake, tuliumbwa katika Kristo Yesu. Sisi siyo wageni wala wapitaji, bali wenyeji pamoja na watakatifu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu, watu wa nyumbani mwake Mungu. Njoni tumsifu Mungu mkuu.
Hi guys, welcome back to The Identity. You're watching Hope Channel, and I'm happy for those of you who have been able to interact with us on our social media platforms. And we are hoping that if you have a question in reference to what we're discussing, that is family and spiritual growth, please share with us, and we are surely going to respond to you. Now, before the break, we're talking about meeting to our family's expectations and standards, and now we're going to pressure. Veda,
Yes.
have you received family pressure?
Wow.
Or you wouldn't look at it as pressure. You look at it as influence. Let's first go with pressure. Have you received family pressure?
I cannot say I've received family pressure. Yes, I have. Wait, yes, I have.
Loading.
Yes, I have.
Oh, come on.
I'd like to say, since I got baptized, yes, so I'm this kind of person who tends to stick in the same line. I'd go, what my decision is final. Like, this is what I've decided and this is what I'll do. So at times you could fail to do something, but they'll see it as your fault. You did not pray, but you see, it's because you did not pray. It's because of you. You did not do this. And since they know you were the one who, I mean, you just got baptized. You did not pray, so it's your fault. Such things happen. Then again, I remember there's a time it was all about ministry and everything. We were to go for missions. Then they're like, this side says you don't have to do it. This other side, it's okay. I mean, but I doubt if it was out of goodwill. It's okay. You can go. Others would be, no, family first. Everything fast. And I was like, I've been with you guys for the whole year. I'm just going for 2 weeks. So but when you try and explain that to them, there's this pressure that also comes from within that tells you you need to do this. It's because you pray a lot, or it's because you do this and this, but not because they want you to do it. It's because you proved that you can do it. And I remember it reached a point, I was like, I'll just go without informing them, because I'll get from both ends. I'll just go, then come back. Rather, when I'm there, I'll just, by there I'm at mission, in the mission site. This and this is happening. Yeah, so it happens a lot. You could get all sorts of comments, ideas from everyone. Yeah.
Wow, Pastor, have you received this family pressure?
Well, the first thing I ever said I want to be was a pastor. So honestly, I didn't really get pressure from that. Well, my dad was like freely telling me, okay, if you want to be a pastor, you should take this, and this option. The pressure that I received is when I wanted to do a different kind of ministry than what's traditionally said as ministry. When my dad, then now there was pressure. Whereas my siblings are like, Moses, you should pursue your dreams, you should pursue what you want. But my dad and my mom are like, no. This is not what you're going to do. This is the right way to go. Look at the need, the greater good of the church and all that kind of thing. And so now, even till now, I still feel that pressure. That whereas my parents have this kind of ideal of how I should be like in my ministry, while I have another kind of ideal of how I should be like in the ministry. So this pressure has been really quite tough for me.
Clearly, this pressure is here to stay. Agnes,
Yes.
have you had pressure?
I wouldn't say mine is like a lot of pressure. For me, it's the little things. For the huge things, like if they expect an A from me in class, for me that's not pressure.
Easy peasy.
Easy stuff.
Not that it's easy peasy, but I will struggle to give them that. For me, as I said, pressure is the little things. Like I remember the other day, just on Sabbath evening, there was a visitor who was to come to the house. My dad had invited him because we were all around. My brother is also at the university, so it's hard for all of us to be in the house at the same time. So this is one day, we were all there, and my dad was so excited. And I had a function that evening. I was so psyched up for it. And then he drops the bombshell. He's like, I want you home tomorrow in the evening. And I'm like, oh, okay. And but I have this function. No, family comes first. So in my head, I'm like, Dad, you should have told me before. Not that it would have made a difference, because I probably would still have made plans. Yeah, so I cancelled. Actually, the plans sort of cancelled themselves. So I was consoled. I was like, I'm going to make it for the family, for the dinner, and I won't miss out on anything. So we had the GYD. So I left church at around 7. I got home at 7:30. Just as the visitors were about to leave, they were actually saying the last prayer.
Wow.
My stomach fell, literally. I was like, do you guys know how much I was going to sacrifice to come for this? You didn't tell me it was an early dinner. You should have told me, or at least called me and told me to leave church early so that I come. So I get to the dining table and see that my mom has prepared like a variety of foods. We don't have a house help. So in my head, I'm like, oh my God, she did all this on her own. My brother wouldn't help. He doesn't know how to cook. I was like, she did this all on her own. And one of the visitors was like, oh, Agnes, welcome back. We were just about to say the last prayer. And I tried to smile, but literally no one talked to me after that. And I could feel the tension, So as I was washing the utensils, as a good lady, you just go and, I'm a lady. You just go and...
You have to confirm your
You have to confirm myself. Like,
A woman.
I was about to say girl, and I was like, nah, I'm a lady. So I went collect the stuff, and as I was washing them, I was thinking, this is a lot of pressure for a 19-year-old. You guys just don't do this to me. Yeah, so family expectations can honestly put a lot of pressure. It's not only on on dreams and all, or on functions outside, but also inside the home, with the little things. Like if I don't wake up at 6 in the morning,
you're not becoming a good wife material.
Actually, I'll feel
Proverbs
guilty.
31.
You're not being the Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah, like I don't have the stamina to sleep during the day. I'll keep on waking up after every 5 minutes to confirm if my mom has called me. That kind of pressure can give me sleep, imagine. But yeah, sometimes it's good pressure, but it's still pressure.
So I think also something to notice that as much as you're talking about this pressure, there is good pressure which pushes us and propels us to greater heights.
Yeah.
But then sometimes when it's exerted in excess, and sometimes we can never know the limit of this is enough and this is excess. It sometimes pushes us from the pushes us from the cliff, and we lose it. And that eventually gets to affect us. Pastor.
Yeah, sometimes we were having this discussion with a couple of friends. A friend posted that, is it better for you to lie to your parents and that they are happy, or tell them the truth and continue arguing? Sometimes this pressure starts to create a dichotomy in the heart. Like, example, if the parents' definition of spirituality may be that you wake up in the morning for devotion, you attend church, and you are dressed good, for ladies, let me just put it that way. And if you do these three, I have got a good daughter, I've got a good son. However, there are some who have not yet had an experience. If you have seen our previous episodes, they've not had an experience with Jesus, but yet the parents want to see these things. And as a result, they can end up creating this image for the parents, and the parents can be happy, but yet they're rotting inside. I usually use the analogy that you're creating perfect coffins. People are still dead inside, but you think that by beautifying the coffin, somebody's alive. So I think that's the danger that we have when the parents are pushing too hard to just see the external works instead of spending that time to understand the person and to guide them, to become like a mentor to them, to show them how to achieve the dreams and the purposes in the right line, instead of just forcing them in one kind of line. So I think that's the danger that is there.
Amazing. And of course, there's a parent who's watching and saying, well, I don't know if I have pushed my child too far. Can they know? Vida, can a parent know that, hey, I think I'm exerting too much pressure to my child and it's not working for him or her?
There's some, don't want to say children, there's some youths, let me use the term youths. Like some of us youths may show that we are rebellious. You can see that in your child. You can see that in your son, in your daughter. At times they do things not because they want to, and I guess you can see that. For instance, I'm forced to go to church with this long dress, but clearly that's not in me. I don't want to put on that long dress. So I'll put it on because my mom wants to. But you'll get there's some nitty-gritties you've not done. Rather, you're walking while lifting the dress up. You're so uncomfortable. I guess as a parent, you'll see this, and rather you'll have to watch out on these flags, these red flags, that you've told this person probably you'll be the one leading devotion, and he's not ready or she's not ready. The way this person will be conducting the devotion will clearly show that she did not prepare or she was not interested. Like you'd find someone flipping the pages. Yes, let's read chapter 1, verse 2. That's it. Amen. Then you're like, okay, thank you for that. By that, it should concern you that why did he do this way? Is there a way we can correct it? Probably he did not understand, but how can I find out he did not understand? Yes.
Maybe then that leads on to the fear of our parents overreacting. I think I know my parent has overreacted before. I know. Well, Mom, I love you. But let the truth be told. Sometimes our parents overreact, and this has been a reason for us to more of put up the mask. And I think, as you've said, there's some things which we as youth will tend to do, which is a little bit off our character or off our natural being, just to, because sometimes we might seek to offend our parents so that we can push them away, and so that we can be in our own space or in our own zone, so we can express ourselves faster.
I think just very quickly, because I don't want to speak too much, but
okay.
I just wanted to say that allow yourself to be fragile with your children. I think that one of the things that has been missing, I know, as you say, when we talk about our parents, it's not to say that they're terrible parents, but we're just trying to highlight some aspects that, one of the things that I believe that parents should be to their children is a friend. That they can open up, even if it's something that the parent doesn't agree with. The fact that the young person would know that the first person I can cry to is my dad or my mom, and they will not overreact, as we say. No, what, you also do this? I thought you were, when the parent has this they're focusing on correcting behaviors. Example, a person doesn't know how to do the devotion properly, and then you tell them, do the devotion better next time. You haven't gone to the background to just sit them down, like, what's going on? Have you been reading? Or just understand, how are your friendships? Just to have a casual laugh. There needs to be a balance between being a parent and being a friend who I can open up to. And when I open up to, I can get to tell you the truth about what you are telling me to do, and you can respect that truth, and just tell me, I understand that's how you think, and not 1, 2, 3, but you've respected my opinion. But if you trump the opinion of your child and you just say, you're just a baby, you don't know, that's what creates that I can't talk. Even if I'm having challenge, even if I don't agree with you, I'll just cover up. I'll just put a mask.
Agnes.
Wow. Yeah. When parents overreact, it scares us away. Like, I remember when I was going to first year, I, the profile pics on WhatsApp.
First year in
campus. Sorry.
College, eh?
Oh, yeah.
University.
Yeah, in campus. I took a picture with my best friend then, who was a guy.
Pictures. Tell us about that one. I know that experience.
Yeah, so in the picture I was just holding, like I just taken my hand through his.
Just
it's just because for me it meant nothing.
No, we know what you're saying, because we've gone through that too. Trust me.
Thank God. So I put it as my profile picture, like so innocently. A few days later, I was in for orientation for first years, program organized by the church. And my dad is like, hi, Agnes. I'm like, oh, hi, Mom. I'm like, hi, how are you? How's school?
All excited and innocent.
Yeah, I know. Then I was like, and who's that on your profile picture? And what are you doing? I was like, and then in the background I could hear, oh, in Kiswahili it's mama yake kuja uone, like Agi's mother, come and see. Come and see what your child is doing in school. At that moment I panicked. I was like, oh my God, what could I have done wrong? So I went to look at the picture again. Oh, and we were wearing the same jumpers, written partner in crime. Yeah.
This picture is a dangerous picture. Let me distance myself.
Your parents did
Let me distance myself from this picture.
I understand their worry, probably that their child has been taken away from them, because I've never stayed so long from home. So I guess they were worried that I was starting to get new weird habits. And my dad came for me at that time. It was 10:30 p.m. He came from home to school to pick me. Wow. Yes.
Wow.
That's what we call overreacting.
That was the scariest moment of my life. And my friends kept telling me, they're your parents, they love you, what's the worst they can do? They can't kill you. And I'm like, there's torture that's beyond death. there's a kind of you know, anxiety and anticipation of terror that is beyond death that you guys cannot understand. And I get home, and that was one of the longest talks of my entire life. And I
Because of the
understood-
picture.
Yes, because of the picture.
So that
quickly,
you innocently posted. Yes! That you didn't know.
I didn't know.
That you're in the same
You had no
jumpers of
evil
partner in
intention over
crime.
it.
And you know, my mom was like, so what's his name? I was
Oh,
like,
oh my.
yeah, his name is, oh, hi Marvin, in case you watch this, his name is Marvin. Where is he from? I'm like, what do his parents do for a living?
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow, what university is he in? Multimedia. What did he come to do
You're
in the
revealing
University
everything.
of
Please
Nairobi?
protect Marvin.
No, that's the only thing I'll say. And like to show the distance between which is here in Rongai, and UN, which is in CBD. And they were like, he came all the way from Multimedia so that you could take that photo. And I was like, no, it's not what you guys think. And that has scared me from ever posting, from ever, like, you know, putting a profile picture that will scare my parents to some extent. And that also means that if anything happens to me, like, let's say I decide to, if I get pregnant, God forbid, I don't know where I will get the stamina
Exactly.
to go and tell my parents and sit them down and tell them, you know what, you guys, I think I know I've done a test and it's positive for pregnancy, or
Like, I want to pick up from her. You see, because I faced the same thing. Honestly, we don't have a different, even though it's a different parent maybe, but it's the same thing. Now, imagine, how would you even tell this parent that you're thinking of a relationship?
Because of how they've been reacting.
Just a picture, you know, a picture. Like I posted a picture with one of my best friend's girlfriend, and it was a problem. And when I was telling my friend, and they were like laughing. Like, seriously, we were several of us there, but it was like, you know, pastor should not. Okay, let me not go deeper into that. But as I really resonate with what she says. That now, where do you start? To even tell them. So with this overreaction, it creates now this boundary that you don't want to reveal certain things to them so that you can protect yourself. But then now this is a danger.
It's more of a hazard, it's more of a wall that they've created.
Yes.
Please
I
advise.
just realized something, that in this at this age, the youths, you can either be best of friends with your parents or
Best of enemies.
best of enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best of enemies.
Best of enemies.
Okay, worst of enemies.
Yes, with your parents. Because it's when you make it right or wrong. Because I have friends who are very good with their parents, and I can't say that I'm that good with my parents also, but I've seen those who are very good, like they're best friends. Mom, so-and-so just called. Guess what? So-and-so, as in you're that close. Then there are these ones, like tell my mom that I'm broke. Like they cannot face their parents directly.
Yeah.
So I'm yet to find out if the problem is really the parents or us youths. Because from our discussion, we can see the youths also have a problem.
Yes.
And the parents also plays a bigger role in this. So it's up to us as Christians to pray about these things, that it's not easy. It's either now or never. It's either we become good friends now or worst of enemies.
Because that in place again affects our growth.
Yes.
Be it social growth, be it
Yes.
career growth, be it spiritual growth. And you know, as we're progressing in this, I can't imagine being worst of enemies with your parents, because imagine it's more of you have created for yourself an island. It does not matter how many friends you'll have, they'll never replace your parents.
They provide because they know they have to provide, but not because you deserve to be provided for. You get?
It's more of it's because they have that burden of a parent.
Yes.
But if not, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that it really needs to be seen, because when you're making your child create an image that they're not. It's now creating two personalities that the child has to compete with and has to compete to maintain. And it's affecting their growth because this one will continue growing, and you know, the parent will introduce you, this is my daughter, she's a deacon, a deaconess,
down, you know very well
and you know
who you
very well
are.
that okay, this is not, and you know, and this is creating a conflict even in your spiritual growth. So I think that these expectations, they need to be met with reality on both sides, and especially the parent side. But yet they show us the way. Not to say that they sympathize with us when we are sinning, no, but to show us love. Imagine that prodigal son, that the father showed love even though the son was doing something terrible. I don't know if we can do that today and we'll survive. But the father was still there with open arms. And that's God with us. So I think that there needs to be a balance between the two.
Wow, amazing, amazing. I remember this one time I had an experience. I went to my cousin's place and my nephew did a mistake. I love my nephews and nieces, like love them to the moon and back, you know? And when they did that mistake, I saw how they were being disciplined. At that moment, I realized something. The journey to make a noble citizen, a good Christian from a child, is not easy. The journey for a young man to become a good person, to become somebody that is admirable in the society, somebody that is looked up to in the society, is not easy. The family has a great role in how we live, in how we grow in all spheres of life. And there's no way that we can withdraw the obligations or the responsibilities of a parent to a young person, or of a young person to the parent. I will call it, we are in the same scale, but then different, because you have different responsibilities. It will be my urge to my brothers and sisters, my fellow youth, my fellow countrymen, so to speak. You know, let us seek to learn from the wise. Let us employ these characters, let us employ these behaviors, so that you can be able to be good people in society, so that you can be able to tomorrow breed good environment and good spheres, good friendship amidst ourselves. Yes, family is important. We can never put that aside. It's my wish and prayer and choice for you to be able to look into your family and be an inspiration to the betterment of your family, your society, and your church. Until next time, be blessed.